I'm back. So my phone ran out of space, so I had to break this up now into two different videos. I don't want to bother with using my editor lately. It's just been such a headache, and it just seems to delay the uploads and production of my videos. So I try to just wing it and just be myself and have all my flaws and everything like that on display for you. So here I am. And I got my water bottle and I refilled it. It actually has water in it. So hopefully I don't dump it or something. I don't know, something stupid. No more stupid things. All right. So where were we? We were talking about taking lemons and making lemonade, and how the natural lemon of yoga has been turned into the industry standard lemonade yoga. So there's all types of food-based analogies I tend to come up with when I talk about yoga. I don't know why this is. It just pops in. Maybe it's autism. I don't know. But yeah, I like to talk about yoga sometimes as a cow, and industry standardized yoga as a hamburger, because it's processed, it's convenient, it's easily packaged, there's no fuss, there's no mess, there's nothing really for you to look after. That's really a big point. But yeah, you just consume it and move on. And that's the yoga that we're basically being shown. This is like, now little children, come this way into your yoga studio, get on your mat, wear your expensive yoga clothes, your active wear, and say Om, do your movements, do some breathing, maybe meditate for a moment, or do a nice 5 to 10 minute shavasana, and get out of there and go back home and go kick your dog or go eat some hamburgers. Yeah, hamburgers, which is okay, you can eat whatever you want. I'm not going to condemn you for whatever you're eating. I'm not even going to get into diet, because ahimsa is like a whole different thing than diet. Watch the words you use, watch the things you do's. Anyway, so the lemon of yoga. So I'm thirsty, okay? Yoga is not this wonderful sugary lemonade that so many people are happy to consume. I think I might have read that last time, but I'm just going to go back to that paragraph. But when you tell everyone that yoga is an exercise that makes its practitioners look incredibly sexy, yeah, I talked about that last time, but yeah. As long as we obsessively make the asana part of yoga its main point, we will forget the healthy lemon it came from. We will just go for variations of lemonades with extra flavors added to it to add a twist. After all, if a whole bunch of people go into the lemonade business, it's inevitable that they're going to work on innovating different twists on the formula due to the nature of competition. This is precisely what has been going on with industry standardized yoga, that not only focuses on the body, that only focuses on the body movements for the most part, but really we have also the pranayama, the breath practice and things like that, but we don't really go deep with industry standardized yoga. It's almost like you're not allowed. You are not allowed to go deep. Thou shalt not go deep. Why? Thou shalt be dumbed down. Thou shalt remain in ignorance. Thou shalt continue to suffer, for suffering is very profitable. And that's what we're looking at. We are not privileged in this world to know true love. We are not privileged in this world to understand the value of healthy, honest admittance to errors and wrongdoings and mistakes and feeling bad about things and all of this. These things just weigh on us, and we're supposed to just take that weight and feel that inadequacy and feel that shame and feel that guilt and feel that anxiety, that depression. All of these are byproducts of being dishonest, being disenfranchised from the truth and true love, the only real love. I hope that you watched the other video before this. If you're watching this one now, if you're not, watch part 1. This is part 2. So anyway, when yoga is only focusing on the bodily movements and the poses and the breath and maybe a bit of meditation, we miss diving deep into mind and behavioral health, as yoga should really be doing for us. In fact, yoga should be addressing the way that we function interpersonally, in relationships, and as a community. So I like to talk about nonviolent communication, which ties back into that mention just previously about ahimsa. Nonviolent communication is a wonderful tool that we can use to deepen our intimacy, to heal relationships in our family, to help de-escalate angry customers in the workplace, and so forth and so on, to basically help society be in a better space. So nonviolent communication is a wonderful thing. You can look it up here on YouTube. You will find a lot of things that Marshall, I forget his last name, oh my gosh, he's wonderful. Anyway, his nonviolent communication, it is essentially ahimsa, right out of yoga. Yoga ahimsa. Yoga ahimsa. I don't know how you call it. See, yoga ahimsa, it sounds like yoga that's gonna hurt you. But really, it really is yoga ahimsa, because really, Sanskrit is so funny. When the British and the English speakers started adapting some Sanskrit words and some Hindi words here and there, we would start pronouncing the A at the end of things, and yog became yoga, tantra became tantra, and so forth. Asana became asana, and this is just how the Westerners have adopted Sanskrit. And so we are very much cut off from what India's dialogue on yoga is. I'm one of the few English-speaking yoga teachers you will find on YouTube who is going to talk in depth and in nuance and, you know, in a more intellectually and behaviorally, psychologically plugged in way about yoga. This is what we call yoga vidya, knowing the science of yoga, yoga knowledge, yoga gnosis. So this is esoteric yoga, guys. What did you think? We were gonna just be working on bending ourselves into the 5th dimensional pretzels? Anyway, we should be using yoga as a tool for examining our own attitudes, perceptions, motivations, and outlooks. Unfortunately, most people cannot see past yoga poses, and even still, now as I describe this to you, you are now visualizing people on a yoga mat working on thinking about their motivations and perceptions, not just simply adopting yoga as a mind tool that you take with you throughout your life. I must emphasize here that yoga means union, not stretching. It doesn't even mean just meditation either. It doesn't mean gymnastics, calisthenics, isometrics. All of these things I just listed are ways to achieve yoga. I once had a yoga teacher who emphasized that yoga had no goal. She failed to recognize that yoga is the goal. That's all right. Still love her, you know, but that's what it is. This is because standard yoga studio activities just seem to be a great way of self-maintenance And if standard yoga studio activities eclipse the true essence and purpose of yoga itself, then it appears to have no goal aside from simple fitness. Sure, let's say yoga's goal is fitness. We can ask, fitness for what? What are we actually practicing for? Fitness for what? Being a fit vessel for God's love. That is the yuj, or the yoke. We are yoking ourselves to the divine. Yoga is essentially apotheosis. That means to elevate one's status to the level of divinity. So in yoga, when we utilize its full potential, we should work to do the opposite of things that we are finding to weigh our spirits down. This is a very important part of yoga that seems to be forgotten, left on the wayside. Things that are poisoning our heart and mind, so strength may be forged. So we got to dig down into what it is that's not good, that's not helping us, that's harmful. So this is how we find the anti-venom we make from venom. We find venom, we make anti-venom. We find the dote, we make the antidote. We find toxins, and we make medicine. We make a surfactant, something that will clean it up. If we find dirt, we clean it up. So Sausha is a part of yoga, it means cleanliness. We could say that psychic cleanliness is also a big part. We've got physical cleanliness, keeping our hygiene up, and then mental, emotional cleanliness as well. Sexual cleanliness or sexual continence, which we call brahmacharya. I could just drone on and on about the things in yoga that are very nice to keep in mind. Because yoga, once again, it's more of a mind tool than just a physical practice. The physical part is inseparable from the mind part because you're in the physical vehicle, you're in the physical body, and it would be remiss of us to not focus on the integrity of the physical body vehicle. So anyway, we want to work on what is toxic. So what is a toxic person? This is something that comes up quite a bit these days. We talk about a person being toxic, environment is toxic. What makes things toxic? That which is emotionally unhealthy is essentially toxic. That which is rife with assumptions rather than alive with inquiry will poison us with dysfunction. That is dysfunction in our worldview and comprehension or delusion, dysfunction with our understanding of one another, and dysfunction in regard to our overall feelings, attitudes, and behavior. This all adds up to mental and emotional distress, our strife, our inability to trust, understand, care for, or support one another. Over the past several years, we've had a global outbreak of accusations of toxicity, and in these accusations, we have found that we have erupted into a full global mental health crisis. The yoga practice that is called Pratipaksha Pavana looks to me like the very essence of the Messiah. This messianic energy is here on earth, but very hidden by industrial efforts to keep it hidden, by all the egoism we have dressed yoga up with. Pratipaksha Pavana essentially means doing the opposite. Essentially, this is the primary formula of spiritual alchemy, the old mystical practice of turning lead into gold. If we want to be a happier and healthier world, we must access true love, The only way we can access true love is through being honest, and this starts with being honest about the things that have been causing us weakness. We can return to love only by doing that shadow work with one another, in addressing things that have been our downfall. It takes a lot of courage to take accountability for being an active participant in our own self-destruction, instead of blaming other factors for that, and understanding that there is a dance between the internal and the external. And when we are inspired to do certain things from influences that are outside of ourselves, such as following unhealthy trends because they seem funny or cool, sometimes we unknowingly commit a crime against ourselves, and then we carry that criminal energy onward to influence others to follow in our path. Clearly, we should be exercising more forgiveness and less blame and shame if we want to truly come to the state of love so that we so desperately crave. Do not desire love. This is why love is actually replaced by desire, because we desire love so much that we will cheat on our loved one with somebody else because we've had inconvenient times with our loved one. We've had disagreements, we've had falling outs, we've had misunderstandings. Things have gotten rough, they've gotten inconvenient. So we figure they must not really love us that much. Maybe we can find somebody that loves us better. Well, hey, Miley Cyrus has been saying that I can love me better. You can love you better. And you will find your true love inside yourself once you become more honest with yourself, once you realize how much you steal from yourself, how much crime you commit against yourself. And yeah, I'm talking about real crimes, not the stuff that human beings write, and they make these rules and these laws, and they change even sometimes, and you go to this court and blah blah blah. No, it's just like the real stuff that actually makes you amass karma. Do you not understand what I'm saying? I don't know, please let me know if you don't understand what I'm saying. There's a whole flippin' aspect of comments that you can fill out at the bottom of this. If you're having a hard time getting what I'm saying when I'm talking about committing crimes, yeah, you can just write on in and tell me I'm full of shit. Tell me that you don't understand what I'm talking about. That's fine. We'll get into it. So anyway, if we as a collective on planet Earth work hard to embrace the truth and love one another for being honest, no matter how uncomfortable we become in regard to what we see that is true and real, we will see the world change drastically for the better. I leave you with these thoughts and invite you, just for today, to contemplate the things in our lives that challenge our peace and happiness, or discourage us from growing into the more peaceful, deep, wise, intellectually sharpened, yet more forgiving, understanding, and compassionate version of ourselves. Namaste. And that means the divine in me sees the divine in you, whether or not you understand the nature of that divinity. I see your great power potential. I see an awakened person. I see an enlightened person desperate to get out. And I'm here to help them out if you're willing to apply yourself to the mind tool that yoga actually is. Thank you for watching.